Okay, so welcome back again to the neural feed, and we're going to be building a Discord clone, and we're going to be doing that using NextJS 15. I think that's the latest one that we have, and shadcn. And yeah, we are going to also use MySQL for our database. So if you are new to MySQL or relational databases, this should give you a quick head start. So today I want to quickly do things a little. I want to quickly just go back, go to the basic stuff, and start by initializing our first repo. And then with that repo that we initialize, that is how we are going to clone it into our project and then start working. All right. So now that we understand this, what we want to do right now is we want to click this plus, right? You want to go to github.com, obviously. Then right after you're done, you want to click on this plus and then create a new repository right here. And yeah, after creating the repository right here, so here inside the name we want to write, so Discord clone right here should do the trick. Okay, so it says Discord clone already exists. Okay, so let me just continue with the public, so you can see that this is public right here, and always make sure that you've enabled your readme file right here. All right, then right after enabling your readme file, you want to come and click on create repository right at the bottom right here, like that. All right, so since I've already created it, so like, yeah, if I had not created it, I could just do this, right? And it should create it for us. So let me quickly, so just click on the create repository button to create it. But yeah, I've already created it, so I'll just go to my repositories right here. I'll go to the Discord clone. So yeah, I created it yesterday. So I'll just click on that, and right after creating it, you should be in the repository page like this. You should be here after clicking on create repository. And yes, right after being here, you want to click on code right here, then you copy the https. Okay, you copy this. Then the next thing you're going to do is you can search for git bash inside your search somewhere here. But if you're using a Mac, I think there's a way you can search for it. Then you open it up. Right, I've already opened git bash because I thought it would, the PC might run slow, so it might not be able to open it. But yeah, I did open it. Then you can open up code real quick, just like that. That is supposed to open up a new cursor. I think, yeah, I did do a reset to open cursor whenever I type code. I don't know, so I'm hoping it opens up cursor. But if it doesn't, you can just open up your cursor, or just, so this is like a sample project. Then I'll just do control N, so control shift N, and then that should open up a new cursor window, just like that. So I'm going to just minimize this window real quick, and then we're going to open up a new cursor window. Okay, it looks like the PC is a little slow, so okay, so yeah, it looks like the cursor window is being opened. Okay, it's not responding. Let me quickly pause the video. All right, so yeah, so if you open up, I think most of you will be using VS Code. So if you open up VS Code, you see something like an empty, get started screen space here, workspace here, and then you just click on clone repository from there. But just in case you are not seeing any of that, you just go to view and then source control right here. So I'll just click on source control. I don't know, for some reason it is slow, but yeah, I'll just click on source control right here, and we should be able to clone our repository. Okay, 1 second. Yeah, so yeah, when we try to open up cursor again with the code, I think it's now working here. Let me try to do it. So let's try again with the view. Okay, it said it's activating. Okay, so source control right here, or control shift G should give us that. then we can close this one. Okay, so yeah, then now that we have this, we can just click on clone repository right here, and so let me quickly click on that. So after clicking, we should see this menu would appear on top here. For some weird reason the PC is slow, so I'll just click on that, and then we should see the menu appear. Okay, let me pause and fix this the slow running. Okay, so it's here. So we just paste the ACPS that we're going to copy from GitHub, the one here, right? This one, just copy that, and over here we paste it like we did. Okay, we hit enter, and then right after hitting enter, we are just going to select the part. We're going to select the folder that we want to clone the repository in, right? The list, maybe you have a coding projects folder, or you have, you know, YT tutorials project folder, I don't know, but for us, or for me on my PC, we are just going to put that inside. Okay, it's loading up. We put it in YT. I think I have to scroll down. So yeah, YT tutorial projects right here, and then I would select repository as destination, and then that should quickly clone the repository for us. Real nice and real clean. Okay, so let me pause the video. Once the repository is cloned successfully, we should be back. Alright, so once it is done, you would see, would you like to open a cloned repository, and then you just click on open right here, so that it opens up inside this same window, nice and clean. Alright, so now that we have it, okay, it's loading up. Okay, so we can see it's loading up right here. You can raise up the terminal from the bottom like this, and I'll just try to pull this up right here. Okay, nice one. Then the first thing I want to do is I want to just clear this readme. We do not need it. We only needed it just so the cloning of our repository would be smooth. All right, and I think, yeah, when you try to push it just recognizes, I don't know, it just makes it a whole lot more easy, right? So after deleting that, we can just get rid of, okay, it's gone. Then we have to allow the terminal to load up. So yeah, now that we have the terminal here, let us quickly go into our Next.js documentation, and we are going to run a few commands to initialize our Next.js application, and then we will just add our shadcn UI and understand a couple of things on how it works. So you can see this is the terminal command. I just clicked on this button to copy that, and I'll just minimize it. I'll come here and I'll just quickly paste that. Then here I'll come and set it to TypeScript, right? Then we can set it to Tailwind, and we want to make sure that we have ESLint also, nice and clean. Then we can hit enter, and then that should basically just ask us like a couple more questions, and yeah, that should pretty much be it. It's gonna take some time to get there, so let me pause the video, and then when we get to the question stage, we just continue from there. Okay, so as you can see, it is asking us for the project name, but this is just going to create a folder for us. So I'm quickly going to end this. I'm just going to end it right here. I don't want us to create a folder, so I'll just press on the arrow up key to bring back the previous commands. You see arrow up, so, and then so arrow up just to bring up the previous commands, or arrow down just to go back to the most recent ones. Then I'll just bring space, and then dot slash, and then this is going to create the project inside the current directory. All right, so after all this, just dot slash, nice and clean, and yeah, we just wait for the other questions to come, and then we can just continue. Alright, so it says, would you like your code inside the SRC directory? You're going to select no. Do you want the app router? Yes. Turbo pack? No. And we would, okay, so yeah, that should basically be it. So the rest of it is you're going to be installing all the dependencies that has been assigned to our project template, and once that is done, we can just continue with initializing our shadcn right here, nice and clean. Okay, so the Next.js project has been initialized successfully. You can see it right here. So the next thing we want to do is we want to now work with, or want to integrate our shadcn. So I'll quickly open up the browser, and we would quickly switch to the shadcn tab right here, and then you can see this is the link to it right here, nice and clean. So you can see I clicked on Next.js. I think how I got there was I was like shadcn, yeah, I just did shadcn just like that, and the first one that came was Next.js right here. So I just clicked on Next.js right here, and I got to this place, right? So you just copy this, real quick, right? Then after copying that first command, you just come and paste that. So you have npx shadcn at latest in it right here like that, and that one should also open up a string of questions, and then once we answer those questions, we should be able to initialize our shadcn successfully. Then we can now run our projects. All right, okay, so I think I'm going to pause the video, then once we get there, I'll just resume. Alright, so we are in the question side, and then what we are going to do is over here we are going to select the base color, and just so we can follow up together on the same project, just select stone, and then let's move forward. It says which one do we want. I'll just use force because it's way easier to type out into the terminal. Okay, so then we just allow the dependencies to get installed, and then once they're installed, we can quickly look at how shadcn works. We look at a quick overview of how it works, and then yeah, right after that we can just move on to the next thing. All right, okay. Alright, so now we have all the dependencies installed, nice and clean. What we are going to quickly do is we're going to just run our Next.js app right here, and look through the package.json. You can see that here that once we do run dev, it just runs next dev just like that, nice and clean. Alright, so now that we have all these bad boys here, while we are trying to start our Next.js dev server right here, what we are going to do is, just so we can understand how to push. Okay, let me quickly zoom in. Let me zoom in like this. Okay, nice and clean. Oh, it looks quite big. Let's go back a bit. Yeah, then I'll stage all changes, and then I'll say something like initialized Next.js project, just like that, and I would just make the commit. I think for Keza you can generate your commit message, but for tutorial purposes some people would be using VS Code, so because of that I was like, okay, let me just write the message myself. Then we can just use, so I hold control and then I'll click on localhost 3000, and that should quickly open up our default Next.js project that we have installed right here. Alright, Okay, so I can see that it's still loading up. What we can do is we can just split the screen as usual. Split the screen as usual. Oh, where is that project? It's still behind. Okay. No. Okay. Oh, yes. So the reason is I think I need to add myself. I need to add myself to the repository before it will be able to we'll be able to push into it, right? um, I'm using a different account inside my Keza or my VS Code. So I mean, I'm pretty sure most of you have the same account as the one in GitHub and as the one in VS Code or your Keza. So you can just push your when you're done, just click on save changes and that should do the work. I'll add myself into the repository later on. Alright, so now that we have been able to do that, I think the page has compiled. Yeah, I think I'm having like some small network issues, so I'll fix that later on. Let us quickly look at the projects that we have right here. So you can see that we have our default Next.js page right here, right? So let me quickly split the screen nice and clean, and yeah, that should be it. And I think for us to be able to download the fonts, the network has to be working. So yeah, I'll just turn on flight mode and turn it back. Alright, and then we should be able to have things working smoothly again. Alright, so now that we have this, the next thing we want to go and do is we want to clean this page up. So we can just come here and select, okay, you can select this whole side right here like this, and we can just return a div, right? Oh, it should be, yeah. So then we say p, then inside we say welcome to the Discord clone. Alright, okay, Discord clone right here. Then it should be able to make the changes. Make sure that you have your autosave enabled right here. So yeah, I think, is it file? Yeah, you go to file and you make sure that autosave is enabled right there, so that you can see the changes in real time, just like that. Alright, so now that we have this working as we want it to work, the next thing is we want to understand how shadcn works, or how we can use it inside our projects. And so in order for us to understand that, let us go to, I think, yeah, this is the shadcn documentation. So this is there are actually two ways to add your elements inside your project using shadcn. We have the one that they give you. Okay, I think for this one it's letting us use the button, right? So let's go to the components right here and we'll just search for the button, the button. I'll quickly scroll and we have the button right here. I'll just click on that, and right after I'm done clicking on it, it should load up the page that has the button documentation in there. Right, so we have two ways. We have the one that allows us to use the terminal, which most of the time is much more recommended because of our components.json configuration that we have here. All right, and yeah, and the second one is the one that they give you like the code. So what you do is you create your components folder, and then you just drag and drop, like you create a components folder, your button file, and then you just drag and drop it inside, right? I think sometimes when my internet is slow, I do the drag and drop one, right? The copy and paste one. Yeah, but yeah, once your internet is working good, you should be able to just use this one, right? Like I just explained. So right now you can see that I am copying that, and then I will just split the terminal real quick. I'll make sure that I am inside the same directory as I am in the Discord clone right here, and I will just paste that and hit enter, and then that should quickly add our button for us inside a component, inside our components folder. All right, nice and clean. So right after that is done, we can look at variants and how they work. All right. All right, so as you can see, it is done right here, and you can see that we have a new folder automatically created for us, which is the component folder. And then if you look closely, the button is inside another folder called UI that was also created by shadcn for us. And then if we look through, you can see that we have button variants right here, and there are a couple of things being done with the cn that has been imported right here. I'm going to get to that real soon. And so yeah, you can see we have variants right here, right? Nice and clean. All right, so let us quickly import this button onto our page and then see how it works. So I'll just import that, so button like this, and then you can see that it directs us to that side. Nice and clean, you see. So we have imported our button like this. When we go inside the project, I think, is it this one? Yeah, let me quickly refresh it just in case. Okay, it said it's compiling, so it's done compiling. Okay, so you can see that this is the button, and if we want to see the contents of the button, we can just say something like click me. We can just say something like click me. So this is click me like this, nice and clean. So it will quickly compile and show the results right here. Okay, nice and clean. You can see the click me and some predefined styles right here. Let us quickly look at something called variants that I have been mentioning. So inside this button components that we have here, you can see that inside the variants we have default, we have destructive, we have outline, and all the other stuff. What we can do is we can even add our own variant. So we can come here. Okay, we can come here and add our own variant and say something like let's say tertiary. So let's say tertiary, just like that. Then inside the tertiary we can give it a bg indigo 600, just like that. bg indigo 600, just like that. All right, then inside we have, so we can say variant, but so you can see that we have a list of variants predefined for us, or suggested to us. That's because it's inside the variant object inside our component, and then we just select it right here. All right, so we just save it real quick. It would quickly compile and then give us the newer one right here. So you can see that it's right here, right? And we can also apply other variants. Let me quickly clean this up. Let me clean this up and then apply another variant right here. All right, so I'll select destructive right here, and that should quickly color this button red, and yeah, just like that. So it will just set the style for that particular variant. And then if we want to, we can add our own class name right here. So we can say something like text 3xl, just like that. And then you should see that the font style, the font size for the text inside the button would also increase according to our class name. And yeah, we can basically work with like a bunch of other stuff. All right, so that is what it is for creating for creating a component or adding a component inside our Next.js project using shadcn, and also working with variants just like that. And you can see uh, our tailwind that we did set up also works like how it's supposed to. And in order for you to be able to get suggestions like these, you want to make sure that you install the tailwind IntelliSense extension. So tailwind, so I think when you just search for tailwind, you should see all that stuff show up for you to use. Alright, I think my internet is just running a little slow, but yeah, it's here. So we can just install that IntelliSense right here, and then we should be good to go. Alright, so now that we have that all set up, so just install this and then you should be able to use the tailwind IntelliSense. And yeah, I think if you are new to this, I think there's one more thing you could try to install, that is ES7. Is it ES6 or ES7? Yeah, this one. Yes, this one. And make sure that it is this username, then you install it. So it would allow us to perform certain quick generations, like quick generations without rewriting the code from scratch. Alright, so now that we understand how these bad boys work like this, what the next thing or the last thing that I want to touch on in this particular point is the lib folder right here. If you go inside the lib folder and look inside the utils.ts right here, we can see this cn utility function that we have right here. And then this cn utility function basically allows us to write conditional styles and give these conditional styles to our various components. We can use them here, and we can also use them here anywhere we want. If we want to see a clear use case, what we can say is we can quickly just create like a use state variable here, or we can just create a random variable and say color condition or style. Let me say style, so I'll just say style condition, like as a test name, like don't take it serious. Style condition, I'll set it to true, right? Or let me set it to false by default. Let me set it to false, just like this. And then inside here, what would happen is if we come and so we can just pass in, we can say, oh yeah, make the background, so we say what, bg orange, or bg red 500, just like that, right? But like whenever we bring this comma and then say we are adding the cn, okay, yeah, so this is how we have to do it. So I'll just select all these parts right here, wrap it around the brackets, right, and then make sure I initialize it with the cn right here. So this cn, we'd have to import that. Yeah, I needed to import, okay, yeah, so it's here. So now that we have this and we set the default style, we can now come and add like some more conditions right here by saying that, oh, in case this style condition, right, in case this style condition is set to true, then we want you to set the bg to be what, slate. So we can say bg slate 400, just like this, nice and clean, and that should basically make our project work nice or work fine. Okay, so I am seeing a few errors. It says what, yeah, okay, yeah, so yeah, it was okay. So you can see, so if I set, you see right now, because it's false, you are not seeing it. So if I set it to true right here, you should see the changes being applied just like that. It would show up, let it compile. Okay, okay, so you can see that it has compiled, and you can see the difference right here, nice and clean. So yeah, in the next part we are going to look at how to set up our folders, and so that building our project to become way faster and easier for us to go through. Right, thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next one.